Welcome to another tutorial. Every malicious actor out there, every hacker out there, before hacking a system or before exploiting an endpoint, first of all, get the IP address of that endpoint. And then one of the most important thing he does is that he tries to check if that endpoint or if that target is up and running. And how does he do this? Let's say, for example, that this is our Ubuntu operating system here, and this is the attacker's virtual machine, or this is the attacker's endpoint, and he wants to use this laptop or he wants to use this operating system to hack a system. Let's say his target in this case is our Windows operating system, which is the Windows 10. So what would the attacker do? The first thing the attacker will do is try to know the IP address of this Windows operating system. Let's say, for example, that we come to our search bar on the Windows operating system and we do CMD here to check the IP address of our Windows 10. So if I do if or ipconfig and I hit enter, we notice that the IP address of this endpoint is 192.168.40.136. Take for example that the attacker already has this IP address and he wants to hack this system here. So the first thing he's going to do is he's going to type the ping command, and then he will try to check if that system is up and running by putting that IP address and then trying to troubleshoot to see if it is up and running. And now when you hit enter, you now see that it gives us ICMP echo request telling us that this operating system or that the Windows operating system is up and running. So this is what the attacker will basically do to see if this operating system is up and running, and then he can proceed with his malicious activity. I am going to stop this ICMP echo request and then we are going to continue. Now, the purpose of this tutorial is not to teach you how to use the ping command, but the purpose of this tutorial is to guide you to see how cybersecurity defenders are capable of giving access to other operating systems in a network, but blocking the attacker from having access to that particular network. Take for example that this is a server. This Windows 10 here is a server in Active Directory, for example. And now we want to block this Ubuntu operating system, which in this case we consider to be the attacker machine. We want to block this Ubuntu system from gaining access or from seeing that this Windows 10 is up and running or the server is up and running. But we want to make sure that Windows 7 and the Metasploit operating system are able to communicate with this Windows 10 while blocking the Ubuntu operating system, which in this case is the attacker machine, from having access to this. Now, let me take it over again. Our tutorial today is this. I want to block this Ubuntu operating system from communicating with this Windows operating system. And in the meantime, I want to give access to this Windows 7 and the Metasploit operating system that access to communicate with the Windows 10. So why are we doing this? The reason we are doing this is because in a corporate environment, this Windows 10 could be an endpoint belonging to the marketing department. This Metasploit operating system could be an endpoint belonging to the IT department. And then this Ubuntu now could be an endpoint belonging to a malicious actor out there who is trying to hack this system here. So we want to block the malicious actor and give access to other departments in this operating system. So the first thing we are going to do is I will want to come to my Ubuntu operating system and I'm going to type if config to know the IP address of this operating system. And if we check the IP address, we see that the IP address of our Ubuntu operating system, which in this case is the attacker's endpoint, is 192.168.40.133. So I am going to come here now and we want to block this Ubuntu operating system from pinging or from troubleshooting this network and getting access to this Windows 10. So what I am going to do is I am going to minimize this command line, and then I will come to my search bar here and I'm going to type firewall firewall.cpl firewall.cpl. You can see it there, and I hit enter down there. So when I hit enter, I wait for it to load, and then it brings us this dialog box here. Now in this dialog box you can see different options here. You can see turn Windows Defender Firewall on or off. So I'm going to click on turn Windows Defender Firewall on or off. So when I click on it, it gives me so many options here. You can see that turn on Windows Defender is on. Our Windows Defender is on, which is a good security practice. Now what some professionals do is they sometimes come and they block all incoming connections from here. If you block all incoming connections, let us go back and see what is going to happen. So if I check this toolbox here, the second one is saying block all incoming connections, including those in the list of allowed apps. And I take okay. What I've done here is a bad security practice because I have blocked the Ubuntu operating system from having access to our system, and I have also in turn blocked other departments in this corporate network from having access to this operating system. So if I come here and I try to ping that device, if I try to ping a Windows 10, you will see that the ICMP packets are not going. You see that everything is stagnant here. It is not giving me those echo requests, showing that I have blocked the attacker here. But now that I have blocked the attacker, I have also blocked those that are supposed to gain access to that system. So if I come to my Metasploit here and I do the same ping, I ping the same IP address, you see that everything is just in one place. Nothing is happening. I am not getting those ICMP echo requests. And if I come to my Windows 7 here and I try to ping the same IP address, which is 192.168.40.136, you see that nothing is happening. So what I have done here by blocking all connections is that I have blocked every other person in the network, including legitimate users, which is a bad security practice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my Windows Defender here, and I am going to uncheck this block ICMP packet, and immediately I uncheck this. If I come back to my Ubuntu and I do a Control C and let me go back again to my Windows 10 and I take an OK, take OK. And then if I come back to my Ubuntu now and I hit enter, this is the attacker machine. You see that we are having ICMP packets like we had initially up there. So let me stop this. And then if I come back to this one here, you see that the ICMP packets are being sent because I have unchecked what I blocked initially. It's going to be the same thing here. If I do it here, you see that we are able to check if this system is up and running. Now, when I say up and running, what I mean is that we are trying to check if this Windows 10 can be seen over the internet, as simple as that. So now that we have done this, what I want to do now is I want to block the attacker's operating system from gaining access to this system, but give access to these other devices in this network. So I'm going to come now here and I'm going, instead of going to turn Windows Defender on, I am going to come to advanced settings. I click on advanced settings, and then you can see inbound rules, outbound rules. I want to base my attention on inbound rules. So I'm going to click on inbound rules. And when you click on inbound rules, you see all the pre-installed or rules that are given to us by default here, all the firewall rules here. What I want to do is I want to come back to inbound rules, right click on it, and I take new rule. When I take new rule, I expect to get a new dialog box, which you can see rule type. What is a rule type here? The rule type here is we want to get a custom new rule because we want to customize this. So I am going to check this circle with custom and I take next. When I take next, it goes to programs and I want to ensure that all programs applies here. So I'm going to take next and then it goes to protocols and ports. Now, what protocols do I want to add to this rule? What firewall rule do I want to add to block this ICMP packet? We are dealing with ICMP packets. So I am going to come to protocol type and I'm going to look for ICMP version 4 because we are dealing with IPv4 IP address. The IP address you are seeing here, this 192.168.40.136 is an IPv4 IP address. So the echo requests are sent to IPv4 IP addresses. That is why we are taking IPv4 ICMP version 4. If we were doing for IPv6, we'll basically just take IPv6 here. But in this case, this is not what I want tutorial is about. So now we come down here and we go to Internet Control Message Protocol, which is ICMP settings. I want to take customize. When I take customize, I want to go to specific ICMP types. And the type of ICMP which I want to use is the echo request, because the echo request is the request that is capable of troubleshooting a particular endpoint in a network to see if that network is up and running, or if that device in that network is up and running before the attacker can hack that system. So I'm going to take OK, and then I'm going to take next. And when I come to next, it gives me this other dialog box here. You can see which local IP addresses does this rule apply to. I want it to apply to all local IP addresses. But when I come to which remote IP address does this rule apply to, I want to make sure that I come to these IP addresses and I want to click on add. When I click on add, it is going to now ask me which IP address do you want to give special rules, or which IP address do you want to block. Now, in our case, we want to block the IP address of the Ubuntu operating system, which is 192.168.40.133. Now, when I do this in a large network, you could as well just give it a subnet like this. But in our case, we are just giving it a single IP address. So I am going to take OK, and then I'm going to come to next. And then the next thing it asks me is, what next do I want to do? What action should be taken against this or for this IP address? I want to block connection to this IP address because it is the malicious IP address. And I take OK. When I take OK, and I ask for profile, I want to take the domain, the private, and public. And then I take next. It asks me now, what is the name of the rule you want to give it? I want to say block malicious actors IP address. And then you could give it any description you want with respect to what you need. So if I take finish, and then if I come back to advanced settings again, and I go back to inbound rules, you are now going to notice that there is a new rule here saying that block malicious actors IP address. Now that we have blocked the IP address of the Ubuntu operating system here, let us now come back to Ubuntu operating system and I'm going to clear my screen, and then I'm going to try to see if I can now be able to ping this Windows operating system and see if it is up and running. So if I hit enter, you now see that the ping command is not working with this IP address. That is because we have blocked this IP address because we consider it to be that belonging to a malicious actor. Take it for example that this is in the case of an Active Directory, whereby this is the marketing department connected here, this is the IT department connected to this server, and then now we want to give access to the marketing department, the IT department, but block any malicious IP address. That is why you are seeing that ICMP echo requests are not being sent by this Windows operating system. So what we have done here is that we are stealthy in the face of the Ubuntu operating system. But now, if I come to my Metasploit here and I clear my screen, and I then do a ping of that same IP address, you are going to notice that we are having ICMP echo requests that are being sent from the Windows operating system. Meanwhile, we are blocked here. So, but if I come here again to Windows 7 or to the marketing department and I ping the same IP address 192.168.40.133, you are going to notice that we are going to be getting replies coming from the Windows 10 operating system or from the Windows 10 endpoint. That is how you block an IP address from gaining access to a corporate network. Now, there are other things you can also do. There are cases whereby you may want to direct certain IP addresses to have information about this endpoint and block certain IP addresses. And this is what we have basically done here. So if I come back here again and I do an abort and I do the same thing, you notice that nothing is happening. This is because we have blocked the Ubuntu operating system from having access to our operating system. So this is all about the corporate environment. This is how firewall rules are set. This is how malicious actors are blocked from a network, and this is how you can create a stealthy environment against a malicious actor or against an adversary while giving access to other departments in your corporate network or while giving access to other endpoints in that network. Now, after having done this, if you want to remove this rule, you could as well just come here and you click on it and you delete here, or you right click on it and you just disable. Now, if I disable this rule and I come back here, you now see that the ICMP echo requests are now being sent to this system because I have disabled that rule. So thank you for watching till now. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification button so that you can always get tutorials from us like this. This is Defensive Cybersecurity. My name is Banaken Guillaume. Goodbye.